Howdy folks, this is Checkers, and this of course is Star Citizen, and we are back with Star Citizen today to take a look at salvaging. One of the professions, one of the things you can do. There aren't necessarily classes or professions in Star Citizen, but there are things that you can do. I am still a bit under the weather, still a bit feverish, still a bit more forgetful than usual, and maybe loopy, and my voice will probably get rusty before the end of this video. But all of that being said, we are at the moment above Crusader, which is a gas giant. There is the Cloud City of Orison beneath us. We are in a Drake Vulture at the moment. Also, in the verse, in the Star Citizen universe, the Intergalactic Aerospace Exposition is running, and yeah, you can check out the ships for free, rent them, fly them around for free. But we have already spooled up our drive. We have a short hop to make, so let's make it. I say short, but the Vulture is not the fastest boat in the fleet, so it's still going to take us a little bit of time. So if you are going to do salvaging in Star Citizen, the first thing you would want to do is to open your Moby glass, and by default you can do that by pressing F1. Then at the very bottom of the screen you'll see a bunch of icons. You want to look for the Contracts Manager, and on the left hand side here you can see Salvage. And when you first start out, you will probably only have missions that, all of these missions you have to pay for. These are the legal missions, and they will probably cost you about a fee of a 500 credit, 500 AUEC. It's Alpha United Earth credits, or United Empire credits, I think. Once you've taken a mission, you then go to Accepted, and there you will find, like, this is the mission. We are going to do a bit of cannibalism and have a vulture eat a vulture. You can also have, under personal, let's say risky salvaging jobs. I think they start out as being fairly legal, but in time move on to fairly not, so that you might be scraping the hull of a ship to erase a crime for someone. You still get to keep all of the material, the salvage, and whatever cargo and weapons you can find, I believe. But, yeah. And I believe those are pretty valuable, but you might also pick up a crime stat, which might earn you a player bounty hunting you, or, well, some time in prison. And in Star Citizen, when you go to prison, your sentence is in real time. Whether you log off or stay in the game, the counter is the same. If you have say a 2-hour sentence, that 2 hours runs whether you're in the game or not. You can earn your way out more quickly by hand mining and basically breaking rocks, and or you could do more nefarious things or try to escape. If you're ever trying to quantum jump somewhere and it won't, just move your nose and let it recalibrate. That should fix the problem. Now, I tried to do this last night, only to find out there is a bug, and that if you have stored the ship you are going to use for salvaging, well, you can't salvage. You can strip the hull just fine. You can't collect the material. Let's turn off our quantum drive. Now, we are 83 kilometers out. I will probably speed this up for you. Although before I do that, I will say you have to be a little careful with the Vulture. You kind of want to increase your speed to close the distance faster, but it doesn't slow down super well. I cannot tell you how many times I've waved bye-bye at my salvaging target as it happily drifted on by as I was trying to slow down. Space break or no. Okay, I'll speed it up for you guys. Okay, so we are under 10 kilometers. And I'm going to take it off cruise. And see if we can not wave as the stricken vulture passes us to the side. One nice thing about the salvaging profession is it is probably the most mellow, relaxing profession in Star Citizen. And you'll see what I mean when we get started. But like mining, you kind of need to pay attention because, well, rocks can blow up. In mining, you kind of drive energy into a rock until it shatters, and then you keep doing that until the pieces are small enough to collect. All right, look at that. Didn't even blast too far past it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is hop out and check the cargo hold of the other vulture. So let's park back to back. I'm going to peek outside because you really don't want to hit the other ship because, well, since we're out in space, it'll just keep spinning and moving, and that just makes your job a little bit harder. Also, normally I'd have started the video in the hangar, and this time I did not, because last night when I tried to make the video, I did that, and as someone mentioned in an earlier video, you know, eventually we're not going to be able to wear our armor, which I absolutely do have on right now. So last night I didn't put on my armor, I just had on the flight suit, and lo and behold, left the armor and pretty much everything else back at the city. So I couldn't spacewalk, which, okay, that I could still salvage from inside the ship. But then I got to a station later and I didn't have a helmet, and I walked through an, well, airless pocket of the station. That's why I'm at 98% health. I was a little bit lower, but got it. It came back up a bit. So Star Citizen is still in alpha. It still has things to be done, but it's a bit like, you know, I imagine a very safe and a fun version of being on the frontier, right? Everything isn't perfect, but there's nothing else like it, and even the quirks can be fun and amusing. All right, now let's come over here to the other vulture and crack the hull. So there is nothing, which kind of makes sense. I suppose we could see if there were any components that we could take. Well, I guess we can't get too confused by our vultures because one of them will be able to fly away and one of them will not. So we can maybe take a look and see if there's nothing in the inventory. So let's see if we can take anything. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Like, this works, right? I'm gonna have to check the gun. All right. I'm pretty sure it's working. That didn't help. That didn't help either. All right, no, let's just open that. It's probably the same power plant, so yeah, and I'm sure there's nothing up front here. So this is our tractor beam equipped multi-tool. Multi-tool because you can equip different heads. You have a mining head or an oxy torch or even a salvaging head. When I first did my first salvaging mission, I didn't have any ship to work with because the IAE hadn't started yet, so I was doing hand salvaging, and that takes a while. Okay, there we go. The transition from gravity to not gravity is unique. Okay, I'm starting to wonder. Let me holster this quick and take a look. I'm pretty sure it has. Well, I've got a tractor beam here. No, okay. So I did not. No, I put one on it when I left. Well, before I left the starport, but maybe it didn't quite register. So let's take another look at those components. In general, the salvaged material, I believe, is worth considerably more. But, you know, we can take the components. Thunk. If we have room. I can't say I've ever salvaged a vulture before, so alright, let's go down there so I don't block myself into here. We could get out. There's a second entrance at the cab, but alright. Okay, didn't plan on that. Come on, door. Okay, and I mean, from here we can probably just stick it right in ours. Now, you can also strip the guns off of ships. The Vulture is not a truly combat vessel, so I don't think that would be very much worth it. I don't know what these components are worth, so there we go. Just turn the beam off and let it drop. Okay. Let's turn that off and hope that we don't die. I don't know if I just kind of knocked myself over with it or what. Okay, you let that go. Come on, big guy. Let's get back up. There we go. Okay, you know what? I'm good with the components. Let's, not worry about any more of those right now. Alright, well, let's see what the quantum drive is on this. No, it doesn't look like we can take that. Bummer. It could be no different than mine, but... Really? If I'm reading that right, it's just saying that it's, more than we can carry. Alright, well, let's not, take any chances. Okay. This one is super eager to get over there, so who am I to get in their way? Alright. Okay, this thing hates me. It really does. Alright, you shall pay. Or at least get me paid, hopefully. Or I'll make enough boxes that I'll just send you off into space. Don't fly into the engine. I doubt I would burn up, but, you know, it's the thought. Okay, come on. There you go. Okay, I am not an expert at this. In case anyone was, you know, concerned that I was. But I have done it a few times. And like I said, I do find it relaxing and fun. I guess we should go take a look at the guns. I seriously doubt they're worth anything to us, but... yeah, yeah, size 1 bulldog, I'm not going to bother. Just holster, please. There we go. And let's get back in our boat. And maybe tidy up a bit here quick. Let's close the hatch. I did close that one, good. Okay, closing. And then let's... and if you hold down R, you can actually rotate the object in the beam. So can... okay. I'm wondering if what I see and what the server sees is just a little bit more different than usual. Okay, let's just turn that off. You do you there, guy. You want to hang out on the wall? Who am I to stop you? Okay, this is our... well, where all of our material will be compacted and put into boxes, which we can then store in our cargo grid. We can also craft things like the multi-tool itself, the tractor beam attachment, the hand salvaging attachment, and the cans that are used to store the material in the multi-tool. Okay, back to the bridge. Salvaging we go. Huzzah! I really do love this game. Okay. Yeah, getting a little bit hungry and thirsty, but not enough to worry about. Now for that hot vulture on vulture action you've all been waiting for. Alright, let's drift forward a bit. Okay. And we're about 40 odd meters away. And we will engage the salvaging mode. And let's pick up a little bit. I found out there's a gimbal for these by looking at the key bindings. So we turn on our lasers to begin salvaging. And you'll see there's kind of a glow on the hull of the other vulture. Now, I can do this by just moving my ship, by kind of strafing along and pointing the harmonized in the sense that they're meeting at the same point, lasers there. Or I can sit still and hit G and then just move the lasers themselves without moving my vulture and collect all the goodies. Okay, good. The filler station is actually filling today. Woo! All right. Okay, so, but in order to change that kind of angle, I have to turn the gimbal off. And wait, I thought that... there we go. I feel like we're a little too close. It's a little hard to judge where the salvaging heads are in comparison to the other ship. I also tend to smack them. So let's put... oh, wait. Gimbal mode back on. And hit the salvaging laser again. So as it's doing the salvaging, it's also collecting the material. And on the right-hand side of the screen, just inside those sort of control tutorials on the right there, you'll see that we have cargo, 17 out of 100 SEU, filler station ready, and now we're up to 1920. So as we strip material from the hull of the other Vulture, it's being collected in that station. Okay, let's get the gun or the heads a little harmonized there and just go back to non-gimbaled mode. And let's head back over here. Get the engine cowling. In some ways, it reminds me, what was that game? I did it for Halloween a few years back. Oh, yeah. Memory is not at all what it once was. Don't think that fever's helping very much either. It was a, basically it was a game where you could you had a mop and you would go through different scenarios, maybe, kind of a Doom Marines scenario where the Doom Marines had gone and slaughtered all the aliens or demons or what have you, and you were the cleaning crew, picking up all the parts of aliens and Marines and shells and mopping up the blood and all of that. Which sounds boring, but I found it kind of just satisfying. And this sort of strikes the same chord, where it's just sort of reverse coloring, I guess. All right, let's switch to gimbal mode and see if we can get in here. Get some of this stuff. And yeah. Okay. That does not look like it's really salvaging at all. The lower part of the back definitely is. Okay, let's go back to center the heads there and switch off gimbal mode. Oops, see, there I hit it. I mean, I guess if you're super talented at it, you could get it to rotate at a nice speed to always present you a fresh side. As I said, am not an expert, but I do find it fun, and it's really not a half bad way to make money in Star Citizen. Oh, look, we've already made a full rotation. So I'm thinking we need to stay a little further than 44 meters out. Oops, that is not the right thing to do. Let's go back to the other heads. Also, at some point, and I swear I just did this a few days ago, and I did not have a tractor beam head as one of the possible options for the salvaging heads, but now it would seem I do, so something new has been added. Okay, we're 53, we're good. Start the beams up. Okay. But, okay, let's just hit gimbal and try and get a little closer and see if that helps. There is a way to adjust. Is it? No. I am not sure how you adjust the spacing of the heads. Does it say over there? Let's turn that off for a second. Okay, let's switch off gimbal mode. Because I'm not sure where the... Okay, well, that's not too bad. Okay, I think that's workable. Sorry if you're like an experienced salvager and I'm driving you crazy doing this. I just, like I said, I really love Star Citizen, and I kind of want to show, at least anyone who wants to watch, that there really is quite... I mean, I won't say it's an extensive variety, but there is a variety of things you can do to play Star Citizen to earn money. You can race. I don't know. I can try my hand at racing at some point, but I'm not going to promise anything with that. Like, my salvaging will be masterful compared to my starship racing. There's mining, which I am also not an expert at, but I will be more than happy to do a video on. And, part of the fun part for me, too, is that I get to learn as I do this. Like, I totally didn't know about the gimbaled mode until I was sifting through the keyboard commands the other day. Because, well, I'm left-handed, so I remap everything, so... Gimbaling, however, not one of those things I remapped. Okay, hang on. Let me see. It looks like we're on a new box. I'm going to back off just a touch and take a look and see what's going on. So, let's hop out of our chair. And up at the top of our screen right now, you can see it says claim number, Drake Vulture salvage rights, salvage the Drake Vulture, and there's a progress bar. Once we drop below, I think, 50% of that, it considers the mission complete. Okay, so it did kick out a box. Cool. And let's just pick up our box, and we'll slide it on over here. There we go, and it'll kind of snap into its grid. Oh, for the crafting to work, you actually need to have some of the material in there. Let's put the weapon down, Damien. All right, up we go. And back into the pilot seat for that hot Vulture on Vulture action. Ow. Whew. Alrighty. We got a little further away. Let's kick everything back on. So let's see. We've done individual delivery kind of boxes. We've done sort of cargo speculation, or at least cargo hauling, earning credits by taking cargo from one place to another. Here we're doing salvaging. Mining is something else we can do. As I said, racing, which I will be more than happy to try. I just make no promises. And let's see. What else? There's also, I should mention, ground racing and vehicular racing. Space, did I say ground racing? I meant space racing and ground-based vehicular racing. Also bounty hunting. And you can do that as hunting NPCs, or if the mood takes you, you can also hunt down those naughty players. There are other missions that are just sort of like... I kind of want to call them hybrid, where you need to fly to a place, and then you may need to infiltrate a structure and take out either good guys or bad guys, depending on where you got the mission from. And you may need to obtain a MacGuffin or a who's what's it, or you may just need to kill X amount of someone, and then when you achieve your goal, you'll get paid. There's a really fun one. There's a space yacht called the 890 Jump, which is, you know, the pinnacle of Star Citizen luxury. And there's a mission where it has been raided by nefarious individuals who have nefarious goals, and your job is to retake the ship, save people if possible, and perhaps stop whatever their nefarious plans are. I've done that one a couple of times. Unfortunately, I very often end up taking out the security forces, the good guys, which has earned me prison time, but it's still fun to do. There are also events that happen from time to time. My favorite so far is the Siege of Arisen. So the Cloud City that we were departing from when the video started, I think that's Ninetales. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, Ninetales sort of takes over a part of one of the sections of the Cloud City, one of the pads, and you are called upon to take it back from them. And they are willing to pay handsomely. And what starts as a first-person, an FPS mission, so first-person shooting, because you are going to Crusader manufacture ships, so ships are on the platform. Once you take out the anti-aircraft that the bad guys have co-opted, you can use the ships for anything you can imagine. I personally have been in a cargo ship that had a tank in it, and I drove the tank out the front of the cargo ship and crashed onto a set of containers on a pad that bad guys were using as a line of defense. It was magnificent. So there are many ways to enjoy Star Citizen. And more, I'm going to say, coming more quickly. It has been announced that the single-player game, Squadron 42, which is being developed in conjunction with Star Citizen, is now feature complete, and they are in the polishing and bug fixing stage. So many developers have moved back over to Star Citizen and the persistent universe. So things are happening at a quicker pace than they have for quite a while. And much of the server meshing technology and I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. I'm sorry, my memory is so bad. It's kind of a function of my condition. But anyway, yeah, they are moving right along with a lot of the basically back-end technology that will make Star Citizen even more exciting than it is now. So it is a great time for Star Citizen and for Star Citizen's players, and a great time to get involved if it looks like something you would like to play. For anyone who's curious, you can get a game package to start playing. I think the lower end ones started around $45, which is pretty reasonable, I think. And from there, you can work to buy every ship in the game. A lot is made of the fact that there are really expensive ships in Star Citizen, and there are certainly ships that are cost quite a pretty penny in pledge. But, the reality is that's still a pledge for a game in development, and there's really nothing else like it. There are some things that would like to be, but at the end of the day, they're not. So I'm not trying to tell you should go out and buy a boatload of ships. But if you do want to get involved in the game, if you want to just wait and see things like IAE, the Intergalactic Aerospace Exposition, and I think in May they have Invictus, which is kind of a military air show sort of thing. Usually there's a free fly, which means that players who don't have game packages can just sort of download the game, create an account, which is free, download the game, and explore the verse. For me, when I started playing games back in the 70s, but really PC games in the 80s, everything was new and exciting, and people were trying crazy things, and almost all of them required you to upgrade your computer or just completely get a new one. Honestly, 6 months to a year was probably a long life for a PC back then. But it seems like for a long time, the industry has kind of stagnated. Because they can, right? If they punch out a Call of Duty every year, a lot of people will buy it. So what's really the incentive to innovate? Star Citizen's incentive to innovate is the guy who's making the game wants to kind of have a universe like Star Wars to play around in. And, probably didn't realize how much money he'd make, or he probably could have gotten a license for Star Wars, but this way he can do whatever he wants without having to go through a committee at Disney and Lucas. And back in the day, in the 80s and into the 90s, Chris Roberts, the fellow who is the basically the man in charge, his games were Wing Commander were made by Origin Systems, which was a very, very big deal back in the day. Origin was founded by a man known as Lord British, or Richard Garriott, and the basically crown jewel game for them was Ultima. And there are games that are just now kind of catching up with where Ultima was in the 80s with what you could do and experience. Like, we're talking full day-night cycles, being able to bake bread, play instruments, to do things. Final Fantasy came about because Origin and Richard Garriott brought Ultima to Japan, and they loved it. And they started going, hey, you know what? We could do this too. And thus you have Final Fantasy. That is not me projecting. That is actually just the way it happened. So Origin was very much at the bleeding edge of technology back in the day. And so it was very much in that environment that Chris Roberts made the Wing Commander games, and that I see, this Star Citizen and Squadron 42 as a continuation of that. Okay, there is more material on this. I am trying to understand what that says, and I do not. Yeah. Sorry, I guess I'm just kind of yammering. It's a kind of fever thing. But I really am having fun doing this, and I hope you don't mind all the yammering. I try not to be too much of, yeah, back in my day we played this, that, or the other thing. Though I guess I do that kind of a lot. But it's hard to watch all the games and all the imagination that was in the beginning be sort of leashed down by corporations and their accounting departments. And it's easy to say, well, if it wasn't for the accounting departments, there'd be no money. But, you know, there were a lot of crazy games made. If you think about, like, id and Wolfenstein 3D, Wolfenstein 3D was shareware, which meant that it came on like a floppy 5 1/4, 3.5 inch disc and was just shared by people who are like, hey, I have this game I got from a friend of mine on a disc. Here, I'll make you a copy. You can play it. And if you wanted the full game, you know, they might have it and might be able to give you all the discs. But at the end of the game, what it would typically say is, hey, if you want the full game and you don't have it, send us X amount of money and we'll send you the discs. Or if you have the full game and, you know, you'd like to be a stand-up guy about it, why don't you send us the money for our game? And while that might sound like they would never make any money at all, it was enough for all of the people who worked at id to buy Ferraris. So I'm thinking it was kind of a successful way to make money. So it is possible to take chances. I suppose in some ways that's what Star Citizen is. Shareware, giant shareware. Except, of course, you have to pay to get in the door unless you can get in a free fly. It still says there's some, and I still see kind of portions of the hull, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's try and focus on this spot and see if we can melt it down, maybe. I guess we are, aren't we? I don't think we're going to get another box, though. So let's go back. Let's set these. Let's actually turn off salvaging mode and just kind of go down to the cargo hold and see how things are going. Now, if it turns out we've only got 2 or 3 boxes, what I would normally do is take another contract and get some more. Yeah, we've only got the 2 right now. But since this is really just a video to take a look at how this all works, we'll take our cargo and sell it and just give you an idea of how much we make with a couple of boxes of salvaged material. I can hear my voice getting rustier too. So I'm sorry about that. But I really do get excited about this game, so I wanted to do it even if I wasn't quite feeling well. And, well, plus I have access to ships that I would not normally have access to. Okay, we need to set course. Why don't we head back to Crusader, we will come here to Horizon. And there we go. We will spool up our quantum drive. And I will see you when we reach Crusader.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Okay, and our drive is cooling down. Line up with Horizon.
Quantum drive is now on.
And we'll jump near the city. Take a look from outside. Okay, and now we just have to find the spaceport. Let's turn off the quantum drive. I can recognize it usually when I see it. There it is. Kind of a broken up cross. A cross with split ends. Or an X with split ends. This might take a while, so I'll speed it up until we're closer. Okay, so we've just gotten a message from air traffic control to request landing, but we're a little too far out. It's a little bugged at the moment, so we want to be pretty close. My two kittens are playing currently. Their collective nickname now is Only War, so you might hear them in the background. They're very much the epitome of the cartoon, like, fight where it's just a cloud and you see, like, paws and heads and teeth every so often. That's kind of them. But they're having fun. Okay, so I hope we're close enough. Let's contact ATC.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Hey, we are. Okay, so now we just got to navigate over there. And we do move much differently in atmosphere. So if we're slow in space, we are very slow in atmosphere. Okay. Now we'll just drift right on in here.
Landing gear down.
Okay, and just touch down nice and gentle.
Landing
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Okay, let's... I always like to check repair and fuel status when we touch down. So we need 1 AUEC of quantum fuel, 232 of hydrogen fuel. And okay, we'll just let them do that, and we will close this, and we will shut down, and exit the boat. Okay, now we could go out the front, but Kind of used to going out the back. All right. Close it up. Okay. And I will see you where we can sell our material in just a few moments. Okay, we are here at the Cloud View platform on Arisen. There are some shops through those doors right there that say Stratus. Hospital over there under the word Arisen. And here we have the Trade and Development Division. And we just need to come up to our commodity shop here. And we select the location as Drake Vulture. And here is our recycled material composite. I think I always say, do I say RMC or RCM? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's RMC. So we sell that and we net 15.25K AUEC for selling those. And that was just from the 2 boxes. So like I said, I would normally try to fill up the hold with other contracts before coming back. And that is salvaging. What I would do now, we can see if we can sell the components. If you don't want to stick around for that, I don't blame you. It's probably a very long video at this point. But if you do want to stick around, we'll catch the next shuttle over here and head to Cousin Crow's and see what we can get.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
One thing to note is that you can often
Please clear the hatch.
get contracts
Shuttle will be departing.
for ships that have actual cargo. And I believe, especially on the illegal side, those might be quite valuable. So you might want to go out to the salvage site first with something that can carry a bit of cargo, or a friend who has a ship that can carry a bit of cargo. Unless you have a reclaimer, in which case you just throw everything in the reclaimer. The reclaimer is the very, very, very large version of the salvaging ship. And if I can pick one up in the final days to look at, I will do that.
Approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Okay, so this is the Providence Industrial Platform. And around the back is Cousin Crow's. For everything custom and components. Well, not everything, but different shops in the verse sell different components by different manufacturers and different grades. Same with kind of everything, at least for now. Who knows what will happen in the future. So again, we select our destination as the Drake Vulture and sell. So we get, 5.4K for the power plants. And an additional 3.6 for the coolers. So what is that, 9,000 extra, I think? Yeah. And if we had weapons, we would go... Actually, I think Cousin Crows might actually sell weapons, too. Vehicle weapons. So yeah, we could have sold those here, too. But yeah. So I would like to say thank you so much for joining me as we took a look at salvaging in Star Citizen. I hope you found the video informative and maybe even just a little bit entertaining. I would like to invite you to think of something you are truly grateful for. Something which brings a smile to your face and a true warmth to your heart. Maybe it is the love of your life, or your best friend, your beloved pet, a favorite book or movie or song. Whatever it is that brings that smile, hang on to it now and let it brighten your day. I would also like to ask you to be kind, not just to yourself, but to others as well. I usually say that in reverse. I just kind of got lost in watching the video in front of me, and I have a fever. But anyway, yeah, be kind if you can. Most of all, though, I would like to ask you to please, take care.